Okay, so here is basically what's going on this Saturday for college football. Oklahoma State beats Boise State 44-21. LSU 19, Auburn 21. Oklahoma wins 38-27. I believe that's what it says. Um, Penn State 63. Pretty much they just annihilated Kent State. I don't think that Kent State had much of a chance against Penn State's offense, honestly. I didn't see too much defense for Kent State, honestly, against a pretty decent Penn State offense that just kept racking up yards. Um, and then we have Miami, the Hurricanes. Well, honestly, they played a pretty good game today, I have to admit. Yeah, they won pretty big, anyways. Um, I'll just say that today that there was some really good games. Honestly, a lot of good competition as far as you know, some teams surprising people. Um, SMU versus Michigan. Michigan wins 38-20. Um, the Notre Dame game, honestly, as a fan, I thought they played much better this week. I think that they had a few bad offensive drives that I thought could have benefited them in the long run. But honestly, I think that it was a good win. It was a 5 point win. Vanderbilt was a pretty decent opponent. Really, especially in the second half, I thought Vanderbilt um, was finding a way to gain yards against us. They're a pretty decent team, honestly. So I could see them doing some things against South Carolina. Um, Notre Dame does win though, 22-17. So the Irish are officially 3-0 going into Wake Forest. I think that should be another good game as well. Wake Forest is always a good opponent for the Irish every year. Indiana wins 38-10 over Ball State, which kind of surprised me, honestly, because Ball State put a pretty good fight, honestly, up against Notre Dame last week. So that was a little surprising. Purdue plays Missouri tonight at 7:30. Um, and then we have, obviously, TCU versus Ohio State. Sorry, I'm having issues. I got really bad allergies. So, which team would I pick, honestly, in that matchup? I'm going to say TCU has every opportunity in the world to upset Ohio State tonight. Um, I think Ohio State is getting a little too cocky right now. They're on a high note. They've been winning. They haven't played anybody, honestly, as far as competition went. Um, I am absolutely picking TCU to win that game. I'm picking TCU to win 34-17. That is the final score of that game. That's what I'm thinking. Now, there were some games that were postponed today. North Carolina's game, obviously, was postponed. And then Virginia Tech. So those games were not be. I guess they're going to reschedule them. I think that's what they're saying. I'm not exactly sure what's going on with the situation. But, and, what else is I going to say here? I'll just say that this Saturday, I think that there was a lot of great competition between all these teams, and I feel bad for this. You know, the coast, North Carolina, South Carolina, even a little bit of Virginia. They're dealing with a horrible hurricane right now. So I highly doubt that those games are going to be played. they're probably going to be moving them, honestly, back for a few weeks, or they might even cancel them. I don't know at this point with the hurricane issues. So, but yeah, that's just part one of what's going to happen as far as scores so far. I haven't really been paying attention. I don't really know who won the USC Texas game. My pick was Texas to upset USC. So I'm not really sure what happened in that game. I didn't watch it, or maybe it's not even on yet. I don't know. I don't really pay attention to either team, honestly. So, but I would pick Texas in that situation. Um, then we're going to talk about the NFL Thursday night game between the Ravens and Bengals. I thought it was a pretty decent, evenly matched game. I mean, it was back and forth. I thought that the Ravens did a decent job, honestly, as far as catching up at the end there to keep it more of a close game. Flacco played decent. I thought that the offense was okay. But Cincinnati, I think, is a team that might impress some people this year. They're playing pretty good. I mean, they beat two teams in a row, so yeah, I think that we're gonna have some interesting matchups tomorrow as well, and even going into Sunday night and Monday's games as well. Um, but I think that last Monday night's games, the Lions versus the Jets and the Raiders and Rams games, um, those were pretty good games. Honestly, I thought that both teams uh, in the Los Angeles area, I thought that they put up a pretty good fight against each other. I mean, it was a pretty close game. I know that the Raiders fans weren't really happy at the end of the game because of the outcome, but I think that the Rams are a team that could surprise some people in the playoffs this year. Um, and as far as the Jets go, I was pretty impressed, honestly. The Jets look pretty good. Um, the Lions, you guys got a lot of work to do. I mean, you guys are just not very good. And I've been saying this for years. Matthew Stafford is overrated as your quarterback. He's highly paid, way too much money. Didn't he have like 3 or 4 interceptions in that game? He looked pretty bad. Your running game looks bad as it possibly can. I mean, I just don't know what more I can say. Um, I don't think it's going to be a very good season for you guys. I don't. You don't look very good. Um, And with Stafford as your quarterback, I just don't see that that's going to be a good situation for you going forward. I think you need to evaluate how much money that you guys are paying this guy. I've said this for years that you really need to get an upgrade at your quarterback position because this guy is not your future. Um, and I feel bad for the Lions fans because ever since Megatron left, basically you haven't had any success as far as getting anywhere. And now you have Stafford as your quarterback, and he's not very good. So, um, but anyways, I'm gonna jump off here. Few quick notes. Florida State looked absolutely horrible today. Wow. Um, Clemson looked really good. Um, yeah, I mean that's just a few things I wanted to point out. That some teams look really good and other teams just look horrible. So, anyways,